It happened in seconds. A cheerful morning interview, and then a silence so sharp it sliced through the air. Lorraine Kelly's smile froze mid-sentence. Michael Caine leaned forward, eyes burning with something raw, something real. The audience didn't move. No one even breathed. Then it happened. A sound. The slam of a mic against the table. Viewers at home thought their screens had glitched. But no, this was real. Michael Caine, the man Britain calls a legend, had snapped. And he did it live in front of millions. "Wait, what just happened?" whispered one of the crew. Even Lorraine, seasoned and composed, seemed momentarily lost. Her lips parted, but no words came out. The studio lights flickered. Cameras caught the disbelief in every face. The control room went silent. No one could cut to commercial. And as the moment stretched, Michael's voice came, low, steady, trembling with decades of suppressed emotion. He looked straight at Lorraine and said something no one expected from him. Ever. That single sentence would set social media ablaze. It would divide fans, ignite debate, and haunt every replay. But before we reveal what he said, you need to understand what led him there. Because this wasn't just a celebrity clash. It was years of frustration, unspoken truths, and one final question that pushed him past his limit. What happened on that bright studio morning would change both their careers forever. And it all began with one innocent question. The morning began like any other on The Lorraine Show. Soft jazz playing, smiling audience, the scent of fresh coffee drifting across the set. Lorraine Kelly, Britain's beloved daytime queen, was in her element. Across from her sat Sir Michael Caine, dapper in his tailored navy suit. His charm still magnetic even at 90. But behind that polite smile, something simmered. The segment started lighthearted. Talk of his new memoir, memories from old film sets, laughter echoing through the studio. Lorraine teased, "You never stop working, do you, Sir Michael?" He chuckled softly. "Well, I've never been one to sit still." The audience laughed. The chemistry, effortless. But then Lorraine shifted her tone. A subtle pause, a narrowing of eyes. She leaned forward. "Michael, I have to ask, is this really the end? Are you finally ready to say goodbye to acting?" The laughter faded. Michael's jaw tightened. Barely noticeable, but the cameras caught it. He adjusted his glasses, looked down, then back up, straight at Lorraine. "I didn't realize I had to announce my exit," he murmured. A few chuckles from the crowd, uneasy ones. Lorraine smiled, trying to keep it light. "Oh, it's just that people worry. You've given us so much." His reply came like a slow knife. "Given, yes. But must I explain myself to keep what's mine?" The audience fell silent. The crew exchanged glances. Lorraine blinked, unsure whether to laugh or pivot. And that's when the tone of the interview shifted, from gentle nostalgia to something colder. What started as a casual chat was about to turn into the most shocking on-air confrontation of the year. Lorraine tried to recover the tone. She laughed nervously. "Oh, I only meant that your fans adore you, Michael. Everyone just wants to know what's next." But Michael didn't laugh. His voice cut through her sentence like steel. "I think I've already given them enough, Lorraine." Gasps rippled through the audience. The live camera zoomed in on his face. Stoic, cold, unblinking. Lorraine hesitated. "I didn't mean to offend," he interrupted. "You always mean well." "But meaning well doesn't make it right." The studio fell silent. You could hear the faint hum of the lights overhead. Lorraine straightened her papers, her professional mask starting to crack. "We were just discussing your career, Sir Michael. You've had such an incredible journey." He leaned forward, his voice lower now, trembling. "A journey, yes. But not a circus. I didn't come here to be reminded that the world's waiting for me to fade." A sharp gasp from the front row. Someone whispered, "Oh my God!" Lorraine blinked rapidly. "No one's waiting for that, Michael, please." "Aren't they?" He cut in again, eyes flashing. "Every headline says the same. Is this the end for Caine? Like I'm some relic being polished before display." His voice cracked with emotion, a mix of fury and heartbreak. Even the camera operator froze, lens trembling slightly. Lorraine opened her mouth but found no words. The energy in the room shifted, heavy, electric, impossible to break, and then Michael slowly leaned back, exhaled, and muttered, "You don't ask that of the young ones, do you?" The crowd gasped again. Lorraine's lips parted. But before she could respond, Michael Caine placed his hand on the table, firm, and whispered the words that would define this interview. "You don't get to decide when my story ends." It was like time stopped. Every light, every camera, every heartbeat seemed suspended in midair. Lorraine's expression hardened, the warmth gone, replaced by shock and a touch of pride. She leaned in, voice trembling. "Michael, you've had an extraordinary career. But surely you understand—" "Understand what?" he barked. "That I should fade quietly? Smile while I'm buried alive in nostalgia?" The crowd gasped. Lorraine tried to stay composed, but the tension crackled like thunder. "That's not fair," she murmured. "People respect you." "Respect?" he snapped, voice echoing. "Respect doesn't sound like speculation, Lorraine. Respect is letting a man live without writing his ending for him." The audience erupted into murmurs. One person clapped, quickly silenced by others. Lorraine's voice quivered. "We love you, Michael." "Everyone does." He leaned closer, eyes blazing. "Then let me speak for myself." And then, the line that broke the internet. Michael slammed his palm on the table, glared at the camera, and roared, "You don't get to question my legacy, and not you, not anyone." Gasps, shouts, stunned silence. A producer's voice whispered frantically off-screen, "Go to break! Go to break!" But they didn't. Michael stood up, ripped off his mic, and stared into the audience, his voice softened. "I've given my life to this craft. I won't apologize for still breathing," and with that, he walked off set. Lorraine sat frozen. The crew didn't move. The audience, silent, eyes wide. For the first time in years, the Lorraine show cut to an emergency black screen. The clip would go viral within hours. But inside that studio, it felt like the air itself had stopped. When the cameras finally cut back, Lorraine was still sitting alone. Her hands trembled slightly as she tried to regain her composure. "We'll be right back after a short break," she whispered, forcing a fragile smile. But the damage was already done. The control room buzzed, phones lighting up, producers shouting. Viewers flooded social media. Did Michael Caine just walk out? Lorraine looked terrified. Was that real? Within minutes, the clip was everywhere. Michael Caine exploded across Twitter, headlines flashing across screens. "Sir Michael Caine loses temper on live TV." Lorraine Kelly left speechless after explosive clash. But backstage, something quieter unfolded. Lorraine sat alone in her dressing room, head in hands, eyes glossy. "Did I push too far?" she whispered to herself. Meanwhile, Michael Caine, escorted by his publicist, walked out of the building. No words, no apologies, just silence outside. Cameras flashed. He paused, just for a moment, and said softly, "I spoke my truth." That line became legend. Some called him brave, others said arrogant. But everyone agreed they had never seen anything like it. The next morning, tabloids screamed. Talk shows debated. Was this the moment Britain finally saw the real Michael Caine, or the moment he crossed the line? In homes across the country, the argument raged on. But inside ITV studios, one thing was certain. No one would forget that silence after his words. So, what do you believe happened that morning? Was this the raw truth of a man tired of being boxed into headlines? Or a legend who simply couldn't handle one question too many? Because what unfolded wasn't just television. It was a clash between reverence and reality, respect and pride, legacy and control. As the echoes of that confrontation ripple through the industry, one question still haunts everyone who watched. Was Michael Caine defending his dignity or destroying it? You decide. Let's put you in the judge's chair. Question 1. Was Michael justified in confronting Lorraine, or did he let his emotions win? Question 2. Did Lorraine cross a professional line, or was she simply doing her job? Question 3. Do celebrities owe the public every answer, even when it hurts? Type your verdict in the comments. And remember, this isn't just about one interview. It's about every moment when politeness collides with truth. Because sometimes the most powerful lines aren't scripted, they're snapped in fury. Sometimes the legend you admire shows you the human beneath the icon, and when that happens live, the world doesn't blink. It watches in silence. So tell us, when Michael Caine stood up that morning, was he walking away from an interview or walking into history?